Hey y'all, so this video is all about getting your first apartment and moving out on your own. So I moved out December of 2016. I decided I was going to move out May 2016. So when you first decide that you want to move out, the first thing you need to do is start saving your money. If you don't listen to anything else I say in this video, the key thing is saving your money. I would say to be safe, you need to at least save $5,000 to $10,000. I'm going to be looking at my notebook just in case you all wonder what I'm looking down at. So if you have trouble saving like I did, some of the suggestions that I got from other people was to give the amount that you would be paying in rent, give that amount to your parents. So let's say the apartments that you're looking at, you're going to be paying $800 a month for rent. So each month you can give your parents $800 and they could just put that money up for you and save it for you. So that way you're getting a feel for how it feels like to pay rent, and then you're also saving money at the same time. You might have to get a second job if you need to save more money. So with me, I'm not a good saver. I only saved about $2,000 when I moved out of my parents' house, which I didn't feel was enough. Like, I could have done better saving, but I mean, you know, that's another lesson right there, and another area that I'm working on right now, saving. So do not be like me. Save your money. You know, I should have been at least saving $500 from each of my paychecks, because I will say this: if you don't save before you get out on your own, it's going to end up biting you in the butt in the end, because you never know what type of emergencies you're going to run into while you're out on your own. Like, I remember like a few months ago I had like a flat tire and I had to get a new tire. That cost me like $100. So I had to reach into my emergency savings fund and get out money to pay for the flat tire. But you never know what's going to happen when you move out. So that's why it's important to start saving now. And another key thing is you want to budget. You want to figure out what your monthly expenses are going to be. So you want to take your monthly income and you want to subtract that from your monthly expenses. So for me, monthly bills that I was going to have when I moved out, of course, rent. You have to get renter's insurance, which it only cost me like $13 through State Farm. I pay my own car note, car insurance, your electricity, groceries. You need to be saving as well. Cable, Wi-Fi, cell phone, gas. Then I have this high maintenance money. It's like money I use to get my nails done, hair done, buying clothes, and also tithing, if you believe in tithing. And also I pay on my mattress monthly. I'll get into that a little later in the video, but I definitely recommend, if you're buying furniture for your place, you need to pay cash for it. Okay, so the apartment search. So I started my apartment search in May when I decided that I was going to move out. So when you're looking at apartments, you have to decide, you know, okay, these are the things I want and these are the things that are going to be my deal breakers. So kind of like when you're dating, you have your deal breakers. When you're looking for apartments, you need to have deal breakers as well. So some of the things I looked for when I was looking at an apartment, I wanted it to be in a nice area, because I was not finna stay anywhere that's ratchet or anything like that. I also wanted an apartment that came with a washer and dryer. Now, some apartments do have the option where if they don't come with a washer and dryer, you can rent a washer and dryer, but I really wanted an apartment that came with a washer and dryer. I wanted the apartment to be a gated community, even though with living in a gated community, you have to factor in sometimes your gates won't work, and sometimes people can get into your apartment complex regardless of if you have a gate or not. If there's a will, there's a way. I wanted a brand new apartment if possible, but I mean, if it was a few years old, I could deal with that. And you have to understand, with older apartments, like if they're been built in the 90s or even the early 2000s, they can come with a lot of problems. Like they might have an issue of molding, like appliances might not work, and you can go through a lot of trouble getting an older apartment just because it's cheaper. Now, if you can afford to get a newer apartment, or maybe an apartment like that's like between 1 to 5 years old, I would say go for it. Now, the way I found my apartment that I currently live in, I looked on apartments.com, and I also knew people who stayed in the apartment complex, so I would ask them about their experience with living here. And then also, whenever I would come and look at their apartments were so beautiful to me, and I was like, I have to stay here because this fits me, because I'm very high maintenance. I can be a little bougie at times, so I had to stay somewhere that fit me. Always read the reviews on apartments. You should be able to look your apartment complex up on Facebook, and they should have a website. Always look at reviews, because I know when I was looking at different apartments, if people were saying like, hey, this apartment, they have all these type of bugs, and people were posting pictures of the bugs and saying we have problems with this, we have problems with that, I would stay clear of those apartments. And it's also important that you physically visit these apartments. Do not go by the pictures that they show you on the computer. You need to physically see the apartment for yourself, because some apartment complexes are low down. They'll post these pretty pictures on the internet, then when you get there, it's a whole different story. So always physically view the apartments, and always have like a list of questions that you want to ask the leasing agent. So with each apartment that I went to, I had a list of questions. So some of the questions I would ask would be like, are utilities included? What utilities are included in rent? Like, so it's like water, sewage, trash, pest control, is that included in rent? Do you guys offer Wi-Fi and cable included in the rent? I even asked, do they have a nurse discount? Now, I know a few apartments, supposedly in my area, they offer discounts to nurses, 24-hour maintenance, because you never know when something might break down in your apartment. Definitely make sure that the apartment had gated access. And also, I always would ask about deals or special promotions they had going on. Something that people don't tell you is that rent is cheaper in the winter. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Rent is cheaper if you move out in the winter. Now, with my rent, I moved out in December, so I was able to get my rent at $50 cheaper a month. Now, y'all might be saying, oh, $50, that's not nothing right now. But honey, when you move out, any bit helps. Reason why rent is usually cheaper in the winter is because a lot of people aren't moving out in the winter, and they really want to fill those vacancies. So they're trying to get people to move in. So they might offer deals like, oh, free, they'll pay your application fee, or your rent might be cheaper, or first month rent might be free. You know, if you do have to move out in like the spring or summer, which are like the popular months, like if your style of apartment has a ton of vacancies, they usually always offer deals as well. So like if you're moving into like a 2-bedroom apartment and they have like a ton of vacancies in 2-bedroom apartments, they probably will have a nice discount. So you find an apartment that you're truly in love with. So now you have to go through the application process. So when you are applying for an apartment, you do have to pay an application fee. And they also will do a credit check on you. So apartment's application was online. It was pretty quick and easy. I pretty much knew the next day that they had approved me for my apartment. Now, I'm not sure of what credit score you really need to be able to successfully rent an apartment on your own without having to have somebody co-sign an apartment. But I was looking on the internet, like 600s or better is what most apartment complexes are looking for. But really, they just want to make sure that you're going to be able to pay your rent. I know they frown upon if they see that you've been evicted from an apartment complex. So I left out the most important thing when it comes to apartment search: your rent. Figure out how much rent you can afford to pay, and that also helps in the selection process of apartments as well. So they say you only need to be spending about 1/3 of your income per month for rent. So let's say you're making $2,400 a month. You need to be paying at least 800 or less for rent each month. As far as decorating and buying furniture, you should be buying your items as you go along, because if you move into your apartment and don't have anything, it's kind of like very overwhelming. So I would just pick up little stuff that I would see at Home Goods or Target or Walmart or wherever it might be that I knew I would need for my apartment. And I was doing this all throughout May to December. As far as buying furniture and decorating, so with the decorating piece, so you want to get your color scheme together and then go and look on Pinterest. Pinterest has a ton of ideas when it comes to decorating your first apartment. So my color scheme is blush and metallics. So it's blush, gold, silver, and rose gold. That's my theme for my apartment. And as far as buying furniture, I always make sure that you pay cash for your furniture. You have to finance your furniture, then fine. But you want to be able to pay cash for your furniture because that's one less bill you have to worry about for the month. I was very fortunate and blessed that my parents, they bought my bed, my dresser, my nightstand, and my sectional as a moving out gift. It was totally unexpected. I love my parents. They've been completely supportive of me during this whole process. So my parents bought my furniture, so that was a whole bill that I didn't have to worry about. Now, I did buy my mattress for my brand new bed. I should have took my parents' advice and went on ahead and paid cash for my mattress, but I was being hard-headed and I decided to finance my mattress. Now, my mattress, it costs, with sale tax and everything, it costs about like $550. But since I chose to finance it, they added interest on it. So now it's at like $1,000. So I pay on it monthly, and you know, I'll be done paying on it in December. But you know, imagine if I would have just paid for it in cash right then and there, I wouldn't have to worry about paying on the mattress monthly. So if you can, please pay cash for your furniture. It's okay to have to get pieces of furniture, you know, maybe one by one. You know, maybe with this paycheck you have to buy a bed, maybe with this paycheck you have to buy a couch. You know, you have to do what works best for you. So I say start buying things for your apartment now. Like when you decide, hey, I'm about to move out, start buying. Now, the places that I shop for my furniture, I got my furniture from Value City. I will never shop with them again. That's a whole different other story about why I won't shop with Value City. But most of my furniture came from Value City. I got a dining room table from Overstock.com. Home Goods has furniture, Target. As far as buying furniture, I always make sure I would say the best time to buy furniture is usually around like holidays, like July 4th, Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's Eve. So we purchased my furniture around Black Friday from Value City, and they had a ton of deals going on. I went into Michael's just browsing around Christmas time. They had sequin pillows for like half off. So originally these pillows were like $30, but I got them for like $15, and these are on my sectional. So really, if you can buy furniture around holidays, you'll get good deals. Overstock.com, they pretty much have deals, you know, all throughout the week. Prior to moving in, you need to figure out who's going to help move all your stuff. So I decided to hire movers. I hired 2 men in a truck. We got a really good deal from them. I think total the move cost like maybe $200. It was probably supposed to cost more because they ended up going to Value City to pick up my furniture instead of Value City coming to deliver my furniture. So they really, I think it was because one of the movers liked me, but they really had 2 men in the truck is who moved me in. But so if you want to do the cheaper route, is getting like family and friends together just to help move your stuff in. You want to set up your cable, Wi-Fi, and your electricity. Now usually when you get your electricity set up, they also check your credit as well. And if you have bad credit, then you'll usually have to pay like a large deposit. Like, I know here in my city, like, if your credit is bad, you usually have to pay like $200. But for me, I had good credit, so they only added like maybe $42 on to my first bill. It's like an activation fee. And then your cable and Wi-Fi, you know, just figure out what type of service your apartment uses. And usually you want to have your like cable and Wi-Fi set up on your move-in day, and as well as your electricity. Make sure you get your electricity set up well in advance so it can be turned on the day you move in. Another thing that's very important, you also want to view your apartment before you sign your lease. So I moved out December 15th. I came to my apartment complex December 14th and asked if I could take a look around my apartment. And I did, and it looked nice, up to my standards and everything like that. So after I viewed my apartment, I went on ahead and signed my lease and everything while I was there. But make sure you view your apartment before you sign your lease. Do not sign your lease and then go view your apartment, because if something's wrong with it, then you just basically signed your lease. And move-in day can be pretty hectic. Unpacking, that's very tiring. Move-in day, you'll get your keys. You want to inspect your apartment for damages, and most apartments usually have this sheet you can fill out and say, hey, you know, something was broken in the closet before I moved in and everything. And that's just so on move out day they don't charge you for damages. Coordinate everything. So if you have furniture companies dropping off your furniture, your cable and Wi-Fi being set up, you kind of want to coordinate everything. And just I tried to do everything all in my move-in day just so I could have it done and out the way. So, you know, my movers were moving in my stuff. You had the guy from Xfinity here setting up my cable and Wi-Fi. And then you also had maintenance here, because I think I was hanging up my clothes and then like the rack in the closet came down, so they came over like really quick and fixed it. I think I pretty much covered everything as far as moving out into your first apartment. As far as, you know, moving out, it's a pretty big deal. Getting your first apartment is definitely an exciting time, and you know, it's a part of adulting. And I think that as far as with saving and budgeting, you just have to realize like, hey, I'm an adult now. I have, you know, responsibilities now. I might not be able to buy this pair of shoes. I might not be able to buy these pairs of clothes with this paycheck, because I have to pay for rent. I have to pay for this and that. And you know, you just have to go with it. You know, I love living by myself. I wouldn't change anything. The only thing I would change is that I would have saved more money. But I did get a second job. I'm currently working another part-time job, still in the nursing field, just so I can have like extra money to spend on myself, and it's not going towards the bills. And I'm completely fine with that. You know, some people who only work one job and they're comfortable with the income they get, but I wanted a second job just so I could have a little bit more change, more coins to play with. So I really hope you guys found this video informative. If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Pretty Nurse Ashley, Twitter Pretty Nurse Ash.